Hey everyone, welcome to Ingram Micro ONE. I'm Daniel Newman and we are here on the ground at the event as it's getting kicked off. Very excited to have a couple of great conversations here at the event. Starting off, we're going to talk a little bit about AI and so much more. I've got Jim Ans. Jim?
Dan, thank you. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, look, I love the opportunity to spend time with Ingram Micro. You are one of those companies, like I call it like a bellwether company.
No.
You spend so much time with the implementers, with the integrators. You work with all of the vendors. It gives so much visibility. Sometimes, when you're spending too much time at one part of the stack, too close to the customer, or too close to the vendor, you don't see it. You guys really spend that time right there in the middle, all of it, and so much of that's on display here. But is there anything, Jim, that we could talk about today that people would want to hear that's bigger than what's going on with AI?
I think AI is the topic. Not just here, but I think everywhere. You can't escape it, whether it's in the news, in the general media, or even when we're talking about technology specific and specialization. It is the story, to your point.
It absolutely is. And by the way, just the morning in my flight here, between the time I left my house and the time I got here to Washington, D.C., there was like over $65 billion worth of new AI deals announced. That is how fast and furious this is happening.
The investment is happening almost as fast as the rate of change, it seems like, at this point.
Did you see that there was that graph out there that kind of talked about the internet versus AI, and it basically said that this AI pivot is 7 times faster?
I hadn't seen that, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
Because a lot of people are trying to compare, well, is this another internet bubble? But the proliferation is happening so much quicker, which brings me to kind of a question I'd like you to dig in for me, Jim, is AI is not like a monolith. It is not all one thing, right? You've got, we've been doing, by the way, AI algorithms 4 or 5 decades.
Easily.
You had generative AI come out 3 or 4 years ago in terms of at scale, started to become made available. In the last, 12 months, Agentic has been the trend line. Kind of, talk a little bit about kind of what all this means and why it's such a big game changer.
It's a great topic because these are all steps in the process, the evolution of how we're interacting with AI technology and the benefits we get from it. I think generative was a great stepping stone for a lot of people because everyone could use it in their everyday lives, right? When you're at home, sitting around, even something as simple as make me an image that looks like this and getting the result. And it really took hold in, if you think about design or even coding, right? Using that to accelerate that. I think Agentic is this big pivot that everyone's trying to wrap their arms around, to your point, where the model is shifting, where you have essentially an assistant that you're giving a set of objectives to. And it's going to take autonomous actions to help you achieve those objectives. And so that interaction model is the first big change I think people are going to encounter, is this back and forth conversational dynamic that's new. The second, if you think about it, is the architecture. And now we're moving from a single agent trying to do one thing to an orchestrated experience where you have an agent that is in charge of achieving your objective and then orchestrating purpose-driven agents to bring that together. And then the need, especially in Agentic, to have this fact-checking or antagonistic check to make sure what's being brought back to you is actually going to meet your objectives. So I think it's a big, big explosion in how the technology is built, but also how we interact with it.
It is, and we're seeing the same thing. And by the way, it's gone from like an agent to a platform, which is something I know you at Ingram are focused on as well, is you have the Xvantage platform.
Absolutely.
This is, democratizing for many of your partners. I'd love to kind of hear a little bit about what your thought process is. Maybe start a little bit about what Xvantage is, just for everyone out there. But then what are you building in terms of an agentic platform, and how is that being, consumed, and how is that changing the user experience for all of the Ingram, ecosystem?
Absolutely. AI has been at the heart of the platform since the very beginning. When you think about Xvantage, how it drives value for our partners, whether it's vendor or customer, is really in 2 parts. One is, as you know, you've been in this industry a long time. Despite all the great technological innovation and the advancements we've had, to run the business has been highly manual. Right? It's taken a lot of manual effort, inefficiencies. So the first thing is, how do we take those inefficiencies out of doing business for all of our partners to free up time? And then the second part of the platform is giving curated experiences to reinvest that time in that help us all grow, because we're spending historically more time running the business than growing it. So if you think about AI and how that's been integrated since the beginning in the platform, it's to help take the manual work or friction out. So For example, integrations. So having seamless integrations where you don't have to hire a team of 50 to try and plug your native applications into the platform. It's done using AI, so you can come as you are.
Yep.
And then when you talk about reinvestment, insights, recommendations, customized to our partner's business that are based upon the objectives they're trying to achieve. So it could be something as simple as an add-on or identifying brand new opportunities on an upcoming tech refresh that tie into specific software opportunities. So really harnessing the power of AI to help our customers go faster and achieve new levels of growth.
And a big part of your world, right, is you are moving the equipment. I mean, that's the scale. Of course, you've also been sort of the pace setter in many ways to how those companies you provide hardware and technology to build services. Okay. So you've got kind of the transactional part of the business. It's always been something you've been great at, and people understand that very well. But part of the growth story has been adding more.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
So how are you sort of thinking about that from the standpoint of how the Xvantage platform, what it is, how it grows? Because I can see a ton of ways, like agentically, the transactions platform has value, like everything from how it tracks to how it helps you understand what to consume. A lot of the automations we talked about in the RPA era, like are starting to really come to life with Agentic.
Absolutely.
But then you've got, it's got to be more than that though, right? You've built this thing to be so much, I'd love to hear a little more about how you're thinking about that.
Absolutely. If you think about challenges for our partners, it's where are you going to invest for growth? And it's a tough question because you're investing ahead of the return.
Yeah.
Could be a quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, a whole year. And where we're really leveraging Agentic and AI to work with our partners is to how do you quickly and simply identify the areas of opportunity that convert to return fastest? So you think about the questions a partner may have of, if you think about the upcoming AI-enabled refresh of laptops that people keep talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, we all talk about it, but a partner, how can they quickly understand where their top 10 opportunities in that space, with which customers, what's the best approach, what are the upsell, cross-sell opportunities associated with that, and turn those insights into actually opportunities to go pursue with a pitch that's generated by a framework, by AI. That's the same as having in 2-3 years ago, having to hire 5-6 business development resources to go through manual data to come up with those ideas. Yeah. And then now you can match those to programs and go to market in real time. So I think it's really transforming growth in the industry.
It's really interesting. I was thinking about that. So if I'm breaking this down for everybody out there, right, it's you have a lot of data, right? And of course your customers, the ones that are buying from you, the MSPs, the channel partners, the implementers, integrators, they have mountains of sort of data. By the way, some of it's probably really well organized. Some of it's probably not.
Yeah, very true.
Structured, unstructured. Some of it sits in emails and Slack messages, and some of it sits in, tables, things that we've been great at doing analytics on for a long time. This is part of what you're doing, right? It's building that exchange, that you're giving that infrastructure and exchange of data to be able to do integrations. To say, hey, this is your customer profile. This is all the work they've been doing over whatever period of time. This is all the equipment that they have deployed and where. Here is a series of, and what you're saying, right, let me make sure, is that here are 5 different recommendations based on this customer of upsell, cross-sell, refresh. Is that kind of what this is building towards?
Absolutely, and it goes beyond that a little bit to bringing in the wider industry and market data, right? So what are the overall macro trends? Where are the opportunities with those? Then to your point, how do you match that up with the personalized data and experience of a partner so it's applicable to them? Insights are great, but unless they're actionable for the partner, it's just information at the end of the day. And that's not what we're driving. We're trying to work with them to drive outcomes faster and at a larger scale. And the other part of this that's great with Agentic is you may start off with a data set, to your point, but then your experience interacting with the agents points out where you need to bring more data in from different sources that you may not have had access to before to have a more robust view of where the opportunities are and how to action them. So it's constantly evolving.
So this is not new, but it's newer, right? These next level Xvantage, AI and agentic capabilities. Are you able to share it all sort of anecdotally or maybe, some specific, like how it's changing customer, because I'd kind of love to hear some practical stories and probably for this audience, just to kind of hear What does success look like? You know,
It's a great topic. We've already have our partners already interacting with AI and agentic AI right now with us, and I could give a few examples. One easy one would be integrations, as we were talking about before, simplifying, taking the friction out, where as a partner of ours, you can send us your information, your quote request, your order request in any format. You can send us to it even an email, unstructured. You don't have to conform to sending in a specific format to us to have it processed. And we're using AI to pick that up, process your order in seconds, right? So getting you that speed to market, helping speed up the quote to cash cycle. So efficiency improvement, taking down the burden on our partners when it comes to interacting with us. If you think about the growth story or opportunities, we're using IDA, our intelligent digital assistant right now, to go find and help prioritize opportunities that our partners are working on with their end users. 52 different dimensions of data that it's analyzing, and actually enables our associates to reach out to partners and say, these four items that you're working on, these four opportunities with these three customers have the highest propensity to close based upon all this data that we're looking at in the next 30 days. You should focus your effort there. And it's a new way of helping our partners align their resources with outcomes. And we're seeing tremendous benefit for our partners. Hundreds of millions of dollars of opportunities we're helping them close a quarter using that model.
So when I say integrations, you're saying ERP systems, you're saying it's connecting to their CRMs, it's connecting to,
yeah.
But I'm saying it's, for those integrators, channel partners, MSPs that work with Ingram, you've built the integrations across a wide swath of well understood, well known. And it sounds like also you've built some integrations for things like unstructured data that comes from, people's Word documents.
Yeah, absolutely.
And spreadsheets and chicken scratch that they've now, scanned into their system so that they get, because again, what a real org looks like, we all know, and you lead a big org, right? We all know how much salespeople love putting stuff into CRM.
Yeah, it's to be challenged.
But so half the battle's been there, but if all of a sudden now, hey, there was a Slack interaction that took place yesterday that had a bunch of really juicy, good, valuable details. That stuff can be constantly being mined.
Absolutely. It's that multi-dimensional perspective, right, that you're talking about, which is what's the holistic view of the partner, the interaction, the opportunity, because really we don't live in a world where one individual is going to have all the interactions with one partner or opportunity. It's bringing those together and identifying not only the best action to take, but then often who's the best person to take that action. Yeah.
It's funny, I talk about a lot of the tools we're building now, we're going to start building for AI to talk to AI. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah,
we're not that far away though from the fact that who may be reading your best idea that you came up with for an upgrade, maybe an AI that's going to then filter that system down. It's going that way.
And if you think about it, the amount of time it's freeing up for the people in the business, it's nonlinear, it's an exponential level of growth, because now think if you have your own assistant to go mine and do that research and come back with the answers for you. Now your focus is on doing something with that data.
Yeah.
It's a huge transformational shift for the industry, for sure.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And by the way, every business, every industry has a place for it. There's so much more productivity to be gained. There's so many efficiencies to be found. And I keep saying that this industry, picking your right partners. And we started this conversation talking a little bit about like some of the deals that were announced today. You look at a company like OpenAI and it picks its partners. It's AMD, it's NVIDIA, it's Microsoft, it's Amazon, it's right. They're like, who are the companies I want to be around? If you're a implementer, an integrator, and you want access to hardware, software, services, consulting, Ingram. I mean, it seems like that's what you guys have built your lifeblood on, being able to support all those needs.
Absolutely, and it ties in AI as well. So if you think about the investments, we were just going through a few that we continue to make, right? We're an AI-centric platform with Xvantage. The benefit to the partner base is you don't have to go make your own massive investments in technology or the structuring data, or creating data lakes and event-driven architectures. You can leverage what we've built as being part of our partner. And the more interactions you have with us, the richer the data, the richer the opportunities that are presented. So you have your own AI factory, which is us to leverage, and then turn those into actions and outcomes for your business.
Well, if you build the event-driven architecture correct, we've done this on our own company, built our own platform for research, and it can be very flexible. And that's probably for a lot of people out there that might say, well, if I am using the same thing everyone else is using, then how do I be different? Because you can use it around your data, around your processes, and it'll look completely different in your organization than someone else's. That's just something that I thought everybody should know. So on the way out, one message to the viewer, one message, one prediction about the future of AI, you get a choice.
Yeah.
What would you share with them?
What I would say is AI eventually is likely going to become the primary UI for our interactions, right? So we're going to, you still have to have very strongly developed applications that are underneath all that. But I think we're going to go more and more to a conversational user experience where that agentic, your personal agent is going to be helping you accomplish your objectives, might take you away around in a curated experience to do it. But I think that's going to be a big shift. And how do we get comfortable with that conversational business transactional flow that today has been more embedded within a workflow becomes a conversation tomorrow?
That's AI is the new UI. I've heard it a few times, a few different sources. Totally agree. More semantic, more contextual, more natural. Even these devices may or may not be the thing that we'll be using forever. We hear a lot about that. Jim Ans, thank you so much for joining me here.
Man,
a lot of fun to chat to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you everybody for tuning in here at Ingram Micro ONE. We are on the ground. That was a great conversation. Stay with us for more.